Hey, this is Joe Gilder from Home Studio Corner. I want to jump into a session I was working on recently. This was for an upcoming Personas video. Fun thing about being a Home Studio Corner subscriber is sometimes you get to see some stuff that I'm working through to make some videos for Personas. Anyway, a lot of fun. So I wanted to record a guitar to a loop, just a simple loop. And so I put together this loop using some included loops in Studio One. 3 that work together really well to create this groove. Then the idea was to lay down a quick guitar part and then lay down a quick vocal. Well, I bet you can guess how that went. The lay down a quick guitar part took 45 minutes. I can't remember how long it took, but there were many takes. And by takes, I mean record it, delete it, start again. Just side note, if you want to record lots of takes and then sift through them later and cut and slice and comp your way back to a beautiful take, go for it. I've just done that enough, and I'm either too lazy or too stubborn to do that anymore. So if it's me playing, I would much rather just delete the thing and play it again, because it puts me in a headspace of I can't fall back on that last take that was pretty good. It wasn't good enough, and I would rather play it right. And so it puts me in that kind of almost backed into a corner. Have you seen the Beatles documentary, The Get Back? At one point, Paul says we're at our best when we're backed into a corner. The documentary centered around hitting this deadline of writing an album, recording it, and performing it, all in this pretty constrained amount of time. So anyway, that's not to say I always want to be in that situation because it's uncomfortable, but at the same time, it's kind of like playing a live show. If I'm playing just me to a camera, like right now, and I know that at any second I can just stop and start over, guess what I'm going to do? Probably going to stop and start over a lot. Why? Because I can. However, if I'm doing a live stream where you're literally tuning in live, then I guess I could stop and start over, but that's weird and awkward. So to avoid being awkward, I continue on, and I have this focus in the kind of the back of my head. I have this sense of kind of tightness in my neck, knowing I've got to continue, I've got to perform, I've got to hit this note, I've got to play this part, sing this song. So like doing a live performance is different from being in the studio, which is different from just rehearsing by yourself. All that to say, this became an exercise in practice for me at getting better. So anyway, that was a whole aside about pretend like you don't have another take, or pretend like you don't have a bunch of layers to go through and comp later. Anyway, but the point I wanted to make was I found myself playing along to this pretty straight beat. 1, 2, 3, 4. Like, it's got a couple of little syncopated parts. It's fun, but it's not complicated by any means. And a lot of times those are more difficult. So I was playing this Stratocaster over here, which I'm new to the Strat, and I was playing a pretty clean tone. And when it's clean and it's a Strat, guess what? Your timing has to be really good. Because you got nothing, don't have a lot of distortion to hide behind. And so I found myself just getting ahead of and behind the beat. And so by doing this over and over again and getting a little frustrated with myself, I started to play more in time, and I started to hone in on the things I'm trying to aim for as a performer. So if you struggle with timing, if you get off with the click or the drums, a lot of people give you the advice, go practice with a metronome. So go sit with this and play along. It's disgusting. I mean, you can, nothing wrong with that. I had the old metronome growing up. I never used it. This, however, is more realistic. This is like a musical thing that I might actually play along to in a live scenario. Right? It's also gonna help me focus in on where, it's not that I need every single quarter note to be perfect. It's just there are certain sections of the beat or of a couple of bars of the beat that I really want to hone in on. So for me, the 2 big spots I wanted to hone in on, the first was the big snare hit. So not even the downbeat. The downbeat is generally going to be a kick drum. So the 1, 2, 3, 4. So for me, what mattered more to me, I want the downbeat to be good, but really honed in my attention on that snare sound, that big ka. I wanted to hit with the snare. So 2 and 4 are locked in. Everything in between can maybe even be a little sloppy, but as long as I'm getting back to 2 and back to 4 and playing in time with the loop, I feel pretty good about that. So I'm going to play you some of this part that I recorded. It's not perfect, and I initially actually opened this session to talk to you about how to fix timing issues, but I think more than that, it's interesting I started listening to it saying, man, I really did focus in on the 2s and 4s. It gets a little sloppy around the 1s, and like between 2 and 4 and after can be a little loose, but if you just try to get 2 and 4 down, it sounds pretty in time. So here's what I ended up with. You can hear it is not perfect and I need a lot more practice, but it works at least a little bit because I'm coming in, you can see I'm trying as best I can to nail this hit with the snare drum. So the da-na-na-na is a little loosey-goosey, but the is right on. And if I get there and I really lock in where no matter what I'm doing, if I'm trying to riff or doing anything else, I know that right hand goes bam when that snare drum hits. Then if I lock that in, anchor that in, then I can kind of work my way out from that and say, okay, see how this beat, I was a little ahead here. Let's actually edit this down. So this sounds like this. So this beat is right on, but these two are a little ahead of the beat. You see how this vertical line and this vertical line, I'm coming in early. So if I just come select this here, chop it there and there, slide this back a little bit, it should all sound a little more in time. Let's see. My buddy Tim Horsley, fantastic drummer. You've heard him all over my projects over the years. He said he always thinks it's funny when people tell him how, we'll say something like, man, I love how you kind of play behind the beat. And he won't say it, but he'll think to himself, I'm not playing behind the beat, I'm playing on the beat. Everybody else is just coming in early. And as you can see right there, I was coming in early, which made the drums sound behind the beat, which of course this is a loop, so there's nothing wrong with the loop, the problem was with me. So for me, and I think it's pretty common for a lot of guitar players, I may be wrong, the more common place to get kind of stuck is coming in a little too early versus coming in a little late. So if you're a guitar player, go open up your session, even if you never use loops, put together some sort of a simple drum loop. Use drum software, beatbox it if you need to, but put together a loop and record yourself playing a simple riff to that. Something that requires you, even if it's just strumming chords, and really focus on hitting those beats. Make it really emphasize 2 and 4 maybe, depending on what you're playing, and then just make those be perfect, and then see what happens to the rest of your playing. What I noticed was when I was playing the first several takes, I didn't even save them, so I can't even play them for you, but they were just it was just, some of it was getting the pick in the right position and just a different guitar that felt different. Some of it was, my brain was all over the place. I'm trying to make it a cool vibe or work on my vibrato, but the timing was off. So when I focused on, all right, if nothing else, I'm going to hit 2 and 4, so if nothing else, I could just go bow, bow now, bow, bow now, and then I can add more notes out from that. But that keeps it grooving and in time. So then, if the riff was ba-dum, ba-dum, ba-da, ba-dum, 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 ba-da, ba-da, ba-dum, anytime there's a note with the guitar and the drums together, I really want those to be together. So 2 and 4 for sure, but really any downbeat, any quarter note, those need to be together. So it would be ba-da, 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 so even identifying which of those notes were with the beat and making sure those got hit. I could be loosey-goosey before and after, but if those got hit, the overall performance sounded pretty good. And I ended up not going in, even though there were parts like that I just fixed, that I could have fixed. I was up against a deadline, so I didn't. I just kind of left it as is. And overall, I think it worked okay. But that is my spiel on playing in time. Use something you've got to practice, whatever your instrument is. Drummers, we tend to think, drummers, you have timing and I'm going to have the groove. No. If I don't groove with my drummer, all is lost. So go practice this on your own, or better yet, record a song and use the recording process as practice. And then when you're done, you have a cool recording you can use for something else. All right, that's it for me. If you have not subscribed to this channel, please do. And also, if you have a friend who would love stuff like this, who would love Home Studio Corner, maybe copy the link and send it to them. Maybe not this one, because they'll think you're telling them their timing's bad. So maybe just send them to the channel itself. This is falling. The wheels are falling off. Anyway, tell your friends if you would be so kind. I would greatly appreciate it. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.